Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Okay, so today is an exciting day, and I was kind of hoping that YNR would live up to Bold because I've been so excited for this episode, and they had some twists of their own, so I was excited about it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the good stuff first. Um, let's see. Chelsea and Adam are together, and so they have, well, they don't have to, but they chose to tell Connor about their change in the relationship that they're a couple again, right? So they're worried that how he's going to take it because the last time he had good news, his OCD flared up, and it wasn't good. So she was worried about that. But he said we have to have faith in him and that he can handle it. So I was kind of on pins and needles myself because I was like, oh, well, if it doesn't go well, it could be the end of the relationship. I mean, not in one day, but gradual pulling away, you know, doubt. Should we do this or not? Or, that kind of stuff. And he took it really well. In fact, he started making fun of them because it took him so long to realize that they still love each other. So that was cool. Okay, now the weird storyline. I say weird because they write they write Phyllis as a really strong character. She can handle herself. She doesn't take any prisoners. No BS. That whole thing, right? And she's been having a pretty good time after being found by Billy. And so you think she's okay. She might have a little bit of trouble sleeping, but she should be fine because at least she's at home, right? Wrong. So she's sitting somewhere. I'm guessing uh, the Crimson Lights or something. And she's just sitting there. So then Diane happens to see her and tries to say, how are you? I'm glad you're home. I'm sorry for what you went through. And Phyllis is hell bent on, um, she's like, no, you're not. You don't care about me. You're just trying to get good person points. And she's and Diane says, no, I really do care about you. I really want you to be okay. And then you know, and then Phyllis does an about face in about 30 seconds and says, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna spend my life on anger and resentment and everything. So I forgive you. And Diane says, what? We've had fights for years and a couple days locked up with Sharon, and you're now a totally different person than you were. I'm supposed to believe this. And and she says, yeah, well, you don't know what we went through when we were there. Then so Diane, not knowing anything really about what Phyllis and Sharon went through, she says off the cuff, okay, well, I'll be your lab rat for this experiment. And because that's how Phyllis felt when she was being held captive, she goes off. Like, literally, she goes from perfectly calm to hysterics to how dare you? Why would you say something like that? I'm like, oh my God. But then Phyllis explains that what I just said, she felt like a lab rat. And so the fact that Diane chose those exact words, you know. It made her go off. And Diane is really apologetic, and and so okay. So then at the end of that scene, they leave the scene and they're okay. They're not friends, but they're civil, right? So then Diane just happens to see Billy, and says, I think you need to talk to Phyllis. I think she's a little off. And Billy says, okay. So then he says, well, I think you need to do something because I don't know. I think there might be something wrong with you. Not wrong with you, but like you've been through a lot. So then he convinces her to go outside in the air. And he says, how does it feel? Is the air too cold? Is it too cold? And she says, no, I'm good. It's good. And so she tries to play it off. Phyllis tries to play it off and say, well, you know how Diane can push my buttons. So I think that they're leading up to something's going to be wrong with Phyllis. Like something more than just, you know, having a bad day or whatever. But I'm not really sure how it's going to come to full fruition, but it is. I can see it coming already. Okay. So now we go to the heartbreaking storyline of Tracy and Alan, or if it's Alan. But see, there's already been a lot of speculation about if it's Alan or Martin, and I kind of said something to that effect too, only because Martin is supposed to be the bad one, and he had tried to be Alan or pretended to be Alan before, but then other people said, no, Martin did unalive, so this is Alan. So then Tracy has to come to the realization, and she has already, that Alan may not be the person she thought he was. And the sad part is she came to the realization at the moment I told you about when she had the flashback. And she the character kind of reminds me of myself because I'm in my head a lot. And sometimes when I feel like something's off, I try to play it off and like not really deal with it. And I'm like,
Hello, please leave a message after the tone.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Okay. Where was I? She comes to the realization really fast, and she reminds me of me because I do that too. Like I'll be talking to somebody and I'll be like, that doesn't sound right, but I try to play it off at first, and I'm like, oh, that can't be right, and then it starts gnawing at me and gnawing at me until I'm like, no, it really is true. And like, I can no longer, give them excuses for their behavior or whatever. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Okay, so the best line and the most heartbreaking line is, let's see. She says, well, either I'm going to lose the love of my life or he's never going to trust me again. Therefore, we can't have a relationship ever again. So, either way, she loses him. And it's sad because their relationship started from a good place. there was no ulterior motive. There was no malice, nothing like that. So it's really sad. Plus, Tracy is a nice character and like a sweet character, and she deserves a nice guy or a nice person. And she had it, but now she doesn't. So it's sad. Yeah. So yeah, okay, that does it for today. I'm sorry about the noise. All right. Bye guys.